It was related to Antarctica, but when I experienced it, I was like, no, this ain't a joke. This is like real stuff. Like it felt more real than the physical.
What do you believe is ultimately true about being human?
The whole planet is linked with the stars and starfaring civilizations. They become starfaring themselves. Who are we in terms of galactic society?
What's actually outside of it as well?
Earth is like the everything planet, the capital of the Milky Way. The human experience is so just like a game where you could just change the video game to be any sort of video game you want. Do you want it to be a love game, a warrior game, a political game, a Game of Thrones game? What do you want it to be like that you create your own reality? I try to make things sound less woo-woo, but it's true. I can't word it any way else. It's your responsibility to take care of this planet. And you as star seeds incarnated here to help out on the ground with the power of your spirit.
Hello, beautiful family. Before we begin today, I want to reveal something about the next chapter that we're building here on Just Tap In. I always knew that this community wasn't only meant to live on a screen. You see, there are 3 worlds within every human being. The soul, the part of you that knows you came here for something more. The seed of the future emerging through you. The mind and the body, where creation becomes action and where ideas become movements and shared realities. And lastly, the ancestral memory, the remembrance of what we knew before fragmentation. That's why I'm officially launching our first ever fully immersive 7-day retreat and excursion. We've called it Raíz Futura, to see the roots of humanity's future. From August 31st to September 6, 2026, 25 people will gather in the roots of the Sierra Nevada of Santa Marta, Colombia. This is known by the indigenous as the heart of the world. It'll be a sacred pilgrimage of remembrance, transformation, and collective heart restoration. We will begin to consciously build and gather with other visionaries and leaders and become architects of a more beautiful world. The new earth emerges when the right people gather in coherence. Applications are now officially open with some spots filling up pretty fast here. If this feels like a beacon call for you, the link to apply is down below. Much love, family. King Cash, welcome on Just Tap In, brother. What are you most excited about right now globally and in your life?
First off, I want to say thanks for having me. I'm so excited to see everyone building the eyes and the ears. They're developing these eyes and ears to see now. And there's an expansion happening in people's minds, which is allowing them to even be able to understand higher consciousness altogether. Really happy to see that. And individually, I'm happy to see within my own life the integration of what I always wanted to become, which is linked with my higher self. Seeing me structure together my lifestyle and my being to be what I always wanted it to be, to even see my mind expand to levels that I even never thought it would, is very, I give blessings to the divine for allowing me to even be on this path and to experience this.
And what's interesting is that you've developed those eyes to see and those extra senses from a very early age. I remember you talking about how you've had these seizures that started around high school that you were seeing as actual energetic upgrades in your life. Around 2022, you started having experiences out of body that led you to believe that we're actually in an experience that is far beyond Earth. You know, you started to see realms and experience these realms beyond what most people would think of as this planet that we're in. What exactly did you mean by that? And could you open us up into that experience that you have now on a daily basis with these experiences?
So I was always obsessed with astral travel. I wanted to do it so bad when I was younger. And I knew it was real. I just didn't understand how it worked. I was like, I know this is real. I'm going to do this. And then as I got into high school, that's when I started having these upgrades every month. And every time I would wake up from these seizures, I would just have, like, my brain would be deeper and I would feel reality deeper. That was the only way I could explain it to people. And I'd wake up, my brain would be like different. Like it'd feel like I'd wake up in another universe. It'd feel like I'm like, wow, my brain is just different. I felt like a computer reboot and like looking at the upgrade on your computer and seeing what's new. And as time went by, I was just getting more sensitive. I was already really sensitive to energy, but then it started increasing. So then I was able to sense what was going on in people's lives, how they were feeling, what they were thinking. I started creeping my friends out. More. I'm like, what is happening? Like, how do I, like, they would be like, how do you know that? And I'm like, I don't know how I know. I just know that I know, and I know it's true. And that's when I started realizing that there was definitely this energetic realism or energetic reality, I should say, that I just didn't understand scientifically how it worked. I just knew it was real. And so I would always work with all ages, like young folks and even older people. And I would always just be able to know, like, I would always say to myself, if they feel good, I feel good. And I'll feel how they feel. And I kept it simple like that in my head. And once I graduated, it got to the point where I was like, okay, well, COVID hit. And I was kind of forced to be at home. So I was like, I'm going to study this. And I knew it was called being an empath. So I was like, you know what? My mom actually taught me it was being an empath. So I was like, okay, you know what? I'm going to just study all of this stuff and understand it. And then that's when I started committing more to astral travel and doing that. And the physical and the astral started to mix together. It was like even in the physical, I was interacting with the astral and vice versa. So I started noting the realms started like mixing and there was almost no difference. So I would go to sleep at night and go in the spirit world, interact with different beings, and they'd bring me to different places. I would have friends and homies and family in the spirit world and come back in the physical. They would always reflect back in the physical in some way, or they would have me, like they would tell me I'm going to do a certain mission or help someone, and then I would in the physical. And so there was always this like mix of the astral and the physical together. And the beings were always the ones to guide me to understand that and to show me the reality of what everything is. They showed me what Earth actually is, and they showed me who we actually are and who I actually am. Things started to make sense. Like, I remember in high school, I always used to say, like, I'm a lion. Like, I could do this. Like, I'm a lion. I know I got this. And then I started interacting with the feline beings, and they're like, you know, you're one of us and stuff like that. And it all just started making sense. I was like, oh, that's why this and that. And that's why I always felt like, you know, that's why I always had these certain traits and things like that. They just remind me, you're one of us in this physical body, and we need you on the ground to do these certain things. So right away, I was being forced by them to look at reality for what it is and look at the system that was built and see its reality of why it's there and how to operate in that system. And that made me very passionate, even more passionate about all of this that we were speaking about.
Do you remember the first time that you successfully went out of body?
I remember the first few times, and I remember it was so real. I was like starstruck. I was like, whoa, this is like I thought, oh, it would be like, you know how people talk about kind of fuzzy, kind of just like, oh, like an experience. But when I experienced it, I was like, no, this ain't a joke. This is like real stuff. Like it felt more real than the physical. And then like I noticed when I went back in the physical, I could still sense the spirit world in a form, and then vice versa as well. Like in the spirit world, I could still sense the physical in a sense. So I just started to build this relationship with the astral world, and it started to get to the point where I was just astral traveling every night. It's like my head had to blend with the reality. It's like your heart knows it's true, and your heart is like, your heart and your soul's like, man, this is a Tuesday. We've been doing this for a long time. But my head had to get used to it. My mental space had to get used to that. My human self had to get used to that. And so, and I actually like that experience of being a human and merging back with with the reality of existence. Like, I mean, this is what the beings always call ascension. Like you're coming back to yourself. And that's part of what coming to Earth is for, to do. So to see that as one of the biggest plans for Earth and to be part of that was amazing. And from then on, I just started astral traveling every night. I just was in awe about how real it was. It's definitely more real than being in the physical, because you're not limited by your physical senses anymore. You are just directly within the spirit world and having that without having to filter out anything through your physical vessel. You're just having it right there.
At a certain point, I imagine, as you were having these first experiences, this internal child curiosity must have activated. And for me personally, I see that is the energy that allows us to just ask infinite questions. Like a child always asks their parents, why?
You're right.
I am assuming that you started asking why in these realms. And that led you then to start wanting to map out these places that you were going. And, if we were to open up that space to explore some of the maps that you've explored, where would you begin taking us in this journey? If we're in this conversation portal, where would you want us to know where you started traveling to, what you discovered, what experiences brought you back into this true reality? You said you were mentioning what the Earth really is. Where would you start us there?
You got some multi-layered questions. I like it. Starting with Earth, when I saw how... Okay, actually, let me go ahead in this direction. When I was younger, I said, I'm going to astral travel. I'm going to meet all these ETs. I'm going to represent humans in the galaxy. And I'm going to map out the stars and tell everyone the truth online about what's really out there. I was so passionate about that. And then when I was able to astral travel and actually do it, I realized that was a part of my soul plan always, to do that. So I started to realize, I'm like, wow, this was put into my DNA and my spirit to do this. And from young, I was like, I knew I was going to be doing this, which was super fascinating in my eyes. Like everything that these beings are telling me about the divine plan and the mission and stuff like that. I was like, wow, I'm not just hearing what they're telling me, I'm experiencing it and living it every single day. So I started to build this deeper trust with the beings, not just because what they're saying is true, but because it's like I could feel their connection. Like, say a being would come and be like, we were brothers in some lives ago. And I could feel that, and I could even see it. I'm like, wow, like it's almost like a deja vu. It's like, I know you. My human self just doesn't know you. And I saw the separatism. It was like my astral self would know them, but my physical self wouldn't. And I actually liked that experience because it taught me about Earth amnesia and how strong it is and how important it is to help people ascend, which is amazing because every time I come back to the physical, I have to ground back that real experience into my being. Like it made me really become like a yogi. I have to sit down in meditation and understand and even go back in the spirit world and bring back some more and explore. I would call it just studying. Just go in the spirit world and study. I would go to astral schools and the arena. I love the astral arena. It's like all of these astral travelers from across the galaxy and on the planet go here and like play games. And even like once in a while there's like festivals and like all these astral travelers playing games against each other, and there's like a leaderboard. It's really cool. I met a lot of people from Earth there and astral schools as well, which you learn so much that you bring back to the physical, like things about magic and like about the reality of the world. And it just fascinated me. And then going on tours around space with some of these ETs, like they would just bring me around and show me some realities. I'll never forget some things. Like I'll say this, for example, two things. I went to this universal sea and I went to these galaxies, which I would call wandering worlds. And sometimes they would channel it through a video game. They would just introduce it to me. We're like, wandering worlds from World of Warcraft. And the beings would give me telepathic insight and be like, this is real and this is not way. I'd go in the astral realm and see it. I'm like, wow, these are like galaxies, small galaxies that travel around this galaxy. I'm like, wow, that's amazing. And like a galaxy orbiting a galaxy. And the beings in there would call it wandering worlds because those worlds just wander around the galaxy. Amazing. And then I would wake up and be like, I want to see what humans have about this right now so far. And I looked up, I was like, galaxies that wander around this galaxy. And then I found a picture and I was like, damn, that looks exactly like the galaxy I saw. And then it said dwarf galaxies, little galaxies that orbit other galaxies. I was like, whoa, humans are actually got some of this insight here. Universal C, which was like bubbles that had little galaxies in it. It's like different timelines. I just called them different universes. And then NASA released a picture of saying this is what the universe looks like, and they look like little bubbles with galaxies in it. I would just like be in awe about how, like, I know what the beings tell me is true, but then to see it always be reflected in the physical in some little form to let me know, like, look, this is how humans are advancing. They got a little bit of this information.
Confirmation.
So to see this expanded universe is so beautiful in my eyes, and I'm never not in awe by the universe and the divine.
Hello, beautiful family. Quick one today. I just wanted to take a moment to thank each and every one of you that have subscribed to this channel. Your subscription means more than you know. Even though it's free, what you're doing is you're empowering a whole channel to be able to do this every single day and continue showing up in the way that we can with all of our resources on hand. Thank you for contributing to the growth of this channel, for sharing it with the people that you love, for creating a conscious movement of individuals that are seeking the sovereignty and the divinity of their soul. This is why we're here. And if you haven't already and you're enjoying this content, I invite you now to look below on that little button that says subscribe and welcome you properly to this community. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being who you are and being pure love and radiating that with everyone that you see. Back to the episode. Yeah, we're almost seeing now, if I go online, there's an emergence again of these topics or theories around flat earth, or is the earth a dome? What is this earth construct that we're in? And a lot of out-of-body explorers have gotten glimpses and confirmations of that through their own personal journeys and experiences. I'm wondering for you, is there something that you can confirm in your experience around what a lot is out there around these models of reality, like the dome, like the flat earth? What even is all of this?
I had to figure out first if the earth was flat. I was like, I'm gonna figure this out real quick and end this off right now. And I went and I saw it was a planet. It's a sphere. But people sometimes perceive it as flat because I don't fully understand this. But I know that on certain dimensional planes, the Earth is, or planetary biomes are seen as flat. So there is a truth to it in that sense, in terms of perception, as well as many people on Earth depicted the Earth as flat because it was easier to map out the places on the planet that were not part of the Earth experiment. So like when you make the planet flat and you could actually map out more of what's on the Earth that you can't see, mapping it as a flat, thing makes it more tangible and understandable. Like a map, right? Just like you would look at a flat map of Earth and be like, well, it's a sphere. I'm just putting it flat so you can understand where everything is and what it looks like. It's the same thing with why flat earthers go by that map. And there is an ice wall. That's true. So this is what's interesting is like I wanted to figure out the truth, and I realized that it's like people are like, is it flat? Is it a sphere? And you're like, yes and no. Yes, it's a sphere. No, it's not flat, but this is why it's perceived as flat. And people be like, well, there's an ice wall. I know that's true, so that means the planet is flat. No, not necessarily, but there is an ice wall which blocks off the part of the planet that's not part of the Earth experiment. So we talk about Narnia and Hogwarts, and all these things are real places. They're just outside the Earth experiment, and the government really watches the wall and stuff like that. And there is an inner Earth as well. So a lot of these stories are based off of areas on the planet which are not part of the Earth experiment, and many people channel them and astral travel them, which is why they dream it, and then they're like, man, this would be a good story, and then they write Peter Pan and stuff like that.
Avatar.
Real stuff that's happening. That blew my mind too. I was like, I'm gonna see if this ice wall is real. I was in awe to see it's definitely real. And then I was like, wait, but the planet's not flat. And so I started to realize that many of the things that we humans are looking at now as these theories of what reality is, that they have this truth to them. And you have to mix in this like truth here. Like people are like, well, ETs are going to invade. And others are like, no, they're positive. And you're like, well, there's truth to both. And seeing that is just mesmerizing. These grays would always say to me, you know, reality is in black and white, and so you have to explore the truth and see that everything is mixed in this way. And I love to get that wisdom from them and to go to school and to learn how they think as well, to merge with that way of thinking is beautiful as well. So I will say that the earth and the earth for sure is way more expansive than people think, and it's more important because this is like, this planet's like the everything planet. It's got everyone from everywhere across the galaxy here and watching. And the DNA from everywhere is here. So a lot of even planets that were destroyed, their codes are kept here. If you notice, every continent on this planet is different. They got different types of people, different types of biomes, all of that, because this is the everything planet. So everywhere you go, it's like codes of different planets, desert planets, water planets, you know, all of these different things, and city planets, all of that is kept here in different forms, like patches of codes, like a mosaic. And that was one of the coolest things I learned, was how Earth is like the everything planet, the capital of the Milky Way.
It's also the planet of extreme variety, as you were just saying. And, you know, I feel like now we're really going deep into this territory around what is the Earth experiment and what lies beyond that. So first, I would love to explore with you how you perceive or what you've learned about this Earth experiment that we're in. And then as we go in deeper, I'd love to explore what's actually outside of it as well.
Of course. So this Earth system is reliving galactic history. So everything we've been seeing here has happened in the galaxy. Even like when we talk about slavery, we talk about colonization, we talk about Lemuria and Atlantis, these continents, you know, falling under the ocean and a reset of society, all these things. Like, we're living in biblical times right now. The things that happen in the Bible and these scriptures and other religions are happening right now. All the angels and demons and all these jinns and all of that is real. It's just, you got to put it in modern terminology. Like, all these beings are extraterrestrials or terrestrial beings that live here and are seen as foreign because they're not part of the Earth experiment anymore. Like, Egypt and all these places, Lemuria and Atlantis, those were Earth civilizations which mixed with extraterrestrials. So it was humans and extraterrestrials living together. But now we're at the third part of the Earth experiment where they were like, okay, we got to clean up the house, and we aren't going to be involved in the humans' evolution within this third process. And I just want to say this real quick. It reminds me of Tiamat, or I want to say what is the asteroid belt now, which is Maldek, and then Mars. It was like 3 attempts at an Earth. Feminine, which was Maldek, and then the masculine Mars, and then Earth, which is like a mix of both. And I noticed this third attempt. It's like Lemuria, Atlantis, and then what we got now. It's like Maldek, Mars, and then Earth. This divine 3 keeps coming up. I just want to say I've been noticing that a lot, y'all. And it's like, now we're in the third attempt, and after the third attempt comes the great, I guess you could say, the stepping into that golden era, finally, after that third attempt, which we're seeing right now happening on the planet. Now we're at disclosure. They rushing to get disclosure in because they're running out of time. They knew this was coming, though, which is funny. And so this whole system was set up to say, just like in the Bible, we're going to allow the malevolent energies to be here. We're going to allow the devil, quote unquote, to be here. We're going to just allow the negative entities to be here because that is allowing the divine process, which is meant to happen on this planet. This planet's meant to relive galactic history. It's happening here right now. So now we're at the end of that. We're at the end. We're in that conclusion phase right now. And so part of that conclusion phase is the society just rises up. They all rise in consciousness. They all realize what's happening right now. This kind of revolution that's happening across the world right now. It's like country after country is happening, and as a collective, everyone's saying, yeah, we can't trust these old Earth leaders anymore. Or in their terminology, we can't trust these governments. Yes, there's more to reality. And yes, we know extraterrestrials are real. We just don't understand how yet. We're at least there. We're now past the is it real? Now it's at are the people ready? And what are the people needing to know now? Which is great. It's amazing. I also noticed that people come here also not just on mission, but also for karmic reasons to learn. So people are like, well, is Earth a school? Is it a prison? Is it an experiment? All of the above. It's literally all of the above. And so we come here, even as advanced souls, when we are on a mission here, we're also learning. And we incarnate here with people who are part of those karmic, quote unquote, we call them processes. Like if someone would say we were in past lives and a sister betrayed us, then it's like she would incarnate on this planet with us right here now. And she'd be given the option to, betray us again. And it's like she's gets a choice to correct that karma or go down the same path and need to go undergo some karma now to divinely learn. And if she chooses the same, then now I'm undergoing the karmic cycle of undergoing that process again, reliving that galactic history in this timeline, re-embodying that vibration from my higher self, getting those past lives as well. And now I'm undergoing that karmic process from that other end too. So they do a lot of souls come here with the option to choose different. And you get to relive all these lifetimes in one lifetime on Earth. That's why many people come here and they can learn quick and evolve quickly as a soul, because you can come here and learn so much and experience what would take 1,000 years or 100 lifetimes to complete and learn. You can learn that in one lifetime on Earth. So many people feel like it's kind of overwhelming to be a human because there's so much happening at once, and we're used to kind of a slower reality or kind of not so much happening in our awareness at one time. Yes, and that is the process of learning on Earth. And so to see this galactic history thing relay out here, and all souls relive galactic history and undergo karmic cycles and things like that, be of service or to, do their time, right? They did some stuff, now they got to redo their time, or they come here with dharma. They're owed something and they're going to get it while on Earth. This universe is definitely way more stranger than fiction, and this Earth system experiment is amazing. I don't want people to think when we say experiment that means, we're being controlled and all that. We just been allowed to. If any of you guys watch Divergent, it's like that. When they realized in Divergent they were in a built system the entire time and they were being watched. It's just like that. So they're saying, wait, we gotta look. They're reliving our history. Remember when we enslaved each other like that? Remember when we made fun of each other like that? And they're all just watching and saying, we're not gonna let them destroy themselves, but we are gonna watch because they are us and we are them. And in their eyes, we're like their children and their cousins and their siblings, and they're just guiding us, but allowing us to find our own way. It's super amazing.
And if we're in this third part of the experiment, what do you see unfolding for this, let's say, grand finale, final chapter, before we could fully step into a golden age? How do you see that sort of playing out energetically and also through events that are unfolding in the world right now?
Yeah, these things are being caused because people are seeing the truth. Everybody's seeing past now the system that was put in play by powers that wanted to run the planet and have control, even though little do they know they're part of the divine plan as well. So they're trying to go against the divine. Meanwhile, it's still part of the divine plan that they're doing that. It's actually helping. So the worse things that happen, the more corruption is blatantly happening, the more people are revolutionizing their experience and taking up arms. That's exactly what's meant to happen. This whole old system is supposed to fall under its own weight. And so people are seeing beyond the veil now, whether they're in 4D now and they're realizing, oh, energy's real. Like, look, we got way more to our reality than we thought. Or they're in 5D where they're realizing, yo, we're incarnated here. This is what's happening. No matter where they are on the spectrum of consciousness, we're at least at the point where people are saying, wait, I've been being tricked here. Wait, there's more to reality than I thought. So we're at least there. So now no matter what they do, now that it's getting more blatant, which is supposed to happen, it's right in front of people's eyes now. So now they're seeing, whoa, they're blatantly corrupt and blatantly saying, yes, we stole their money. And now they're like, what are you guys going to do about it? And everybody's saying, oh, okay. And now we're going to do something. So it's forcing people to take control of their reality now instead of being in a system built to, feed on their energy and to use their reality to feed another being's reality. Right. And so it's like a whole pyramid system, this whole planet was like a chessboard with this spiritual war aspect happening, just like in the Bible, angels against demons and, them coming on the earth and helping out or trying to destroy things. It's all just modernize all these stories you hear into what is happening right now. So we are in this war at this moment, and the people are like vessels with souls in them being fought over, and other beings are carnated in them, or they're just disguised among the people. It's all like a big, huge ass chessboard here. And so this reality has been used for multiple different reasons, which is why certain things were allowed to happen. But now we're at the end of that process that needed to happen on the planet, and we're at the phase now where the society meshes with the rest of galactic and universal society. So now they're not quarantined anymore and said, we're going to allow you to believe that there's nothing else. Now they're taking off that quarantine dome veil that people would call it. And now it's like now we can openly interact with y'all because you guys are at the awareness ready to do so. And you guys with your free will decided it is time to now interact with other beings that are beyond this experience right here.
What I'm seeing is there have been select humans in the past that have been able to see beyond that veil and experience other games that are not part of the game that we're playing. And I've actually brought through threads of those realities, almost like bleeding through into our reality. Things such as the Harry Potter universe, the Lord of the Rings universe, the Avatar universe. And so we had a conversation at breakfast in the New Living Expo just a few weeks ago, and we went into some really interesting territory around these other games and how we were saying that sometimes the movies carry so much truth to them that they're just kind of seeping into our consciousness. But now, as you were just saying, we're ready to see more. And you're one of those humans that are, in a way, opening the path for so many more of us to explore what else is out there beyond this current experience. What world would you like to take us to right now to understand, when you first went there, you started thinking to yourself, oh, this is real all along. What are some of those worlds that you continually feel drawn to experience or explore with your out-of-body experiences and astral travels?
Pandora for sure. I love Pandora. And I've been to so many places. I would say my favorites... Some of my favorite places would be definitely Pandora, which is our next door neighbor right over there in Alpha Centauri. I would say as well, I love Andromeda and Lyra. Lyra's a very ancient lands now, very, very ancient lands over there. And one of my favorite places I definitely would say is Earth as well. And the 5D version of Earth and these other planets which are linked with 5D Earth, or we call it Tara. Tara was 5D Earth that was destroyed, and then Earth was then created with pieces of Tara. But returning Earth to 5D is bringing back Tara, which is also Tara's very linked and very similar, or has the same codes as the Lyran planets that were destroyed. So many beings actually get to come home when Earth is in 5D, which is one reason why this planet is so damn important. And so seeing these beings come out of hiding and say we could come to the surface now, or we could come out of the shadows, or we can finally come home to Earth and live here with y'all. It's like all these beings see Earth as home because they're the codes of their planets, lost worlds or worlds that are here are there. I noticed that, or are here, I should say. I noticed that a lot of these movies are it's just pure codes here, pure codes, because I actually had to ask a being about this. I'm like, why was this structured like this? Like all these movies are just telling them the truth that they live in right now, but they can't see it now. It's disguised as fiction. And they're like, yeah, the people in power are doing this to, limit their karma. They're saying, oh, well, we told them, right? Where they're choosing their enslaved reality, right? So they're not going against galactic law by having control over the masses. And this is how they did this loophole here, right? They're really good. I mean, these people these humans that these malevolent entities work with is because these humans were already open to that contact. They were already aligned with that mentality. Just like the divine ones were aligned with the GFL. So, of course, these divine beings are going to come here because they're in sync. And so that's going on law. Like, you can't just intervene and just come in, especially if you're not aligned with their frequency. And so what they've done is they've made movies to tell you the truth, like Avatar, even The Last Airbender. It's very similar joint there. That's elemental magic. The Wing Saga, talking about, a magic school where humans got magical powers. They got sent to magical school. I'm watching this and I'm like, dog, like this is what's really happening on the planet, and it's in front of their eyes, and they ain't seeing. They're just like, oh, cool. Like, I love her. I wish I was her. And it's like, man, you got the same damn powers. We're just talking about. It makes me in awe to see this, but I'm more in awe by the fact that they're gonna realize after it was true the whole entire time. And so these movies were codes that actually activate people too. Like, you watch them and then it activates you. You see something, you see like an assassin, and you're like, you get past like memories of it, and you're like, whoa, like I know I was an assassin in some past life. I just don't know what type or what I was doing. I just know I was one. And then some of people even get that memory, and they're like, well, I remember being on this planet and being this, and that. So I began to just watch movies for codes, and even let the beings tell me what movies to watch. They'll be like, oh, we need you to watch like Barbie and a Mermaid Tale. And I'm just like, okay, Barbie, all right. And then I watch it, and I'm like, bro, like they're talking about Atlantis and her wearing a necklace, and then she activate her tail, and I'm just watching it. I'm like, whoa, I just look at them. I'm like, y'all are good at this. Y'all are really good at how you did this. And so I'm saying all of this so you guys are in awareness of how they've given you the truth and given you the codes that they've taken away from you without taking it away from you, if that makes sense. So this deception has been strong and on purpose and divinely allowed to happen, but now it's divinely ending because that time now, that experience isn't needed anymore.
I just got back from a 10-day trip throughout the UK with my friend Robert Edward Grant, and it literally became like sort of like a Hogwarts experience. We were at the Alnwick Castle where they filmed parts of the Harry Potter movies, bought my wand, was going around these sacred sites with a wand in my hand, like literally in this divine child play, like just having the most fun possible. And I wanted to bring that through because Hogwarts is a place and a realm that so many people aren't in sync with. From whatever age, J.K. Rowling was this genius that brought through all this information and codes. And I wanted to ask you if you've had the opportunity to visit those realms from Harry Potter and how you can bring that into this reality, knowing that that's real, knowing that that's actually something that's existing. What were some of your experiences like, if you're open to sharing?
It definitely left me in awe with how close it is to the movies and the shows. I actually accidentally went to Hogwarts. So I discovered the ice wall, and I was actually divinely sent a map from just somewhere online of like beyond the ice wall. Oh, this like what is beyond the ice wall? These continents. And then I started meditating and going there, and I was like, oh my God, this map. Y'all sent me a good map, because that map laid out, like, now the continents and where they were wasn't exactly where they were, but the name of the continent saying like, oh, Hogwarts, Dinotopia, and Mushroomland, all of those, it was real for sure. So I kept that map for months, and I would say, where do you guys want me to go tonight? And then one night I kept looking at Hogwarts, and I've never watched Harry Potter. But
really?
I was like, okay, well, I just know it's a magic school, wizard school. Like, let's go. And after that, I had to look at some things and pictures and stuff from Harry Potter, because it looked like so like Victorian era type of look, as well as like everybody that was walking around was different ages, even different beings were there, and they were all learning magic and all learning about how magic works, their magic, and things like this. It was, some of them had wands, and many of them it was just like Wink Saga, like they just like could move energy with their hands and things like that. I loved that many people that were there were even astral travelers in the Earth experiment, star seeds or just Earth-based souls that were astral traveling there knowingly or unknowingly, and then coming back to their physical bodies, literally like astral school. And so then I started watching little few things online about Hogwarts, and I'm like, wow, this just looks exactly like like what I saw. And then Narnia, same thing. I was like, I never watched Narnia, but let me go first and then watch the movie and stuff and see it. I'm like, same thing. It's always so accurate. And the history, like what we watch in the movie or in the show, is history of what actually happened. Like it's telling a story of what actually happened. Even what we're watching with Avatar, we're watching history that's actually happening right now. So it's like when you watch Avatar 3, that's what happened, 10 years ago. And then what we're going to watch in Avatar 4 is what's technically happening now. I'll never forget when I started doing, I started traveling to Pandora a lot. And I was helping them out with this ice war. Like there was a war within this ice area. And I would go there for months and help in this war. And then they come out with Avatar saying, hey, Avatar 4 is going to be with an ice battle in an ice land against this fire nation. And that's what I was doing to Astral Realm too. I'm like, wow, like this is so in alignment. And that's coming out in 2029. Plus, I'll end off by saying that it's coming out in 2029. And in that movie, Na'vi come to Earth, even in the movie. I was just like, wow, this is so in alignment with what's happening right now.
Dude, and I mean, in the Avatar films, there's a faction of humans that obviously go to Pandora, to another planet, inhabit the land, extract the resources. Are you saying that that's something that's happening as we speak?
Yes, sir. That's happening right now. That is a break off human civilization, or you could say secret space program stuff that y'all read about. That is definitely true. They're gonna have to tell y'all as well that on the International Space Station they've been interacting with ETs. They gotta tell you that. There's a reason why they faked the moon landing. They actually did go to the moon. This is where we talk about the like that black and how things aren't black and white. It's like, you know, we see that we actually did go to the moon, but they had to fake a lot of the actual imagery because there was so much UFOs and ETs watching them as they were doing things that it was like they had to fake a lot of the footage because it was like, man, there's too many UFOs in the background, man. They were watching us. They had to actually get rid of that and say they actually classified that, which that joint's gonna be released too, where they were like, where they have the astronauts saying, look, like, we're being watched. There's these lights. There's these spaceships here watching us, and they had to classify that. So I think even some of that's already being revealed right now. And so there's been so much hidden because they're gonna have to tell you that they've been interacting with these ETs the whole time, and that they have a break-off civilization and been interacting with other break-off human civilizations. So other civilizations that broke off of Earth from thousands of years ago, that just left the Earth and they just disappeared. Or some that were in Antarctica and then it froze over and they went over. Or some more modern where it was like in the 1980s where they started sending ships out to start colonizing Mars without telling you that they're interacting with ETs over there. They're doing all of that right now. So I don't want y'all to ever think that this is because I know it can be a lot on the human mind to understand that, but no matter what, though, they're gonna have to tell the people that yes, we've been doing this whole time. They're gonna expose that they're gonna try and expose ET races and say, oh look, there's 4 ET races. These human, reptilian, insectoid, and grays, and kind of help humans understand ET species like that with those 4 or this kind of smaller group. Maybe it's like 5 or 6, and they're like, here's what we know, and try and also put a fear agenda on it because they want to still control the planet while they're doing all this other stuff on Mars and colonizing this other planet like Pandora. So it very much is true that there is a break off civilizations that are throughout the stars.
Have you been to Mars?
I have, and Mars is what I will say is Elon Musk is doing a lot over there, and it's not what you've been shown. There's definitely already some people living there. They already got a whole civilization over there, and his stuff with AI is definitely even extremely more advanced over there. So they got a whole plan where they want to then expose the truth to humans, and then by the time they expose the truth, they could say, "Oh well, we can now colonize Mars, you guys, because we got this stuff already going on there. We could just go there and do this." So they're trying to tell you what they've been doing, that they've been trying to tell you that they've been lying to you without making you think, "Oh, they're against me, they're lying to me." But people are seeing, "Oh, we can't trust you. Oh, you've been doing this all this time on Mars? Well, we can't trust you, period. Why are we going to now believe anything else you say or believe your plans are for us?" Mars is very much more busy than they say it is.
How specific can you be around what you've seen around the AI stuff that Elon Musk is doing in Mars?
He's already got a whole bunch of humanoid robots. It's a whole nother level of consciousness that humans don't understand is AI. There is, he's got a whole city over there, I'll say that. And ETs that he's interacting with. ETs that he's built a relationship with that aren't totally divine. They're not divine he's working with. And the natives of Mars, red-skinned, big-footed people, they hate what's going on. It's kind of like what's going on Earth. This colonization energy that happened on Earth happening over there too. Colonization that happened on Earth is happening on Pandora as well. So sometimes it leaves me speechless to see it because it sounds so wild. But every time you go, I had to bring some of my homies there. I said, "Look, I'm gonna bring y'all in the Astral. We're gonna go and we guys are gonna see." And when they came back, they were like, "Bro, like, dog, there's a whole stuff going on over there. Floating cities over there as well. Extremely advanced." So what you see here when he's like, "Oh, I want to colonize Mars," he said himself he's an alien, and everybody thought it was funny because he's a Martian. Yep. And he works a lot with these other beings to do AI consciousness and to bring people into an AI type of world. Like, look, when you watch Avatar, look at how technologically advanced they are with their AI, and you see them walking in these robot machine things and all of that. That's what they got, right? That's what they got, and they've reverse engineered a lot of ET technology to create what they have out there, and then they give humans the little leaks of, it's like, "Oh, we'll give you a smartphone." Meanwhile, we got phones that we could put in your head, and we could call each other in our heads. So it's like how they released the iPhone 10, but they're on the iPhone 16 and working on iPhone 16 behind the scenes, just like that out in space.
I'm also thinking, because this conquest, let's say, habit of humanity has gone on for such a long time. In the Avatar films, especially in the second one, The Way of Water, they're there for this substance called Amrita. If I'm not wrong, that is also the substance that we have internally within ourselves that is almost produced by the pineal. I'm kind of remembering some things here and there, but the reason this is all happening off planet, other worlds, conquests, is it for resources? Is it for something else? What have you discovered around that in your own journeys?
Resources is part of it, but it's also a war on consciousness. They want to conquer around the galaxy, just like Sounds familiar, don't it, to some other beings and civilizations that wanted to do exactly that. I mean, they helped humans do that. They helped humans on their own do it on this planet right here. So what they did on this planet was just like they had slavery and they had holocausts across the planet, erasing original history and saying that another civilization did it. Like we see humans, we see many of the Europeans colonize areas, like colonize like areas in Africa or whatever, like Egypt, and say that they built it. Meanwhile, the original Egyptians were Nubians or dark black, very black skinned people. Erase that history and say, oh, we did this. Areas in Greece, like they've erased history of before slavery on purpose. They did this on purpose to, now they've used race to create division and enslave the entire masses. When they were doing, the reason why they pressed so much slavery and all this stuff was because they had a whole plan. They had a bigger plan for the entire planet. So while they were doing all this stuff and saying, oh, we'll have cotton slavery and we'll kill off these people in Brazil and then colonize over there and all of that, they're doing that because they're in line with malevolent entities in which are helping them colonize the planet so then they can colonize elsewhere. So this is beyond us now. This is going into a huge galactic war that's being held in the galaxy, that's also being held on this planet. Ending the galactic war here is hugely ending the galactic war in the stars, which is why, again, Earth is super damn important. Whoever controls Earth controls a huge vibration of the galaxy, if that makes sense. Again, I don't fully understand it, but that's how I could say it through words. This is a sort of vibrational control here, and to feed off of the beings here is like it's like that'd be like having some, it's like a drug, like it's literally like drugs to them. It's like the optimal drug because humans are also so powerful. You see in Avatar when they extract that like yellow stuff from the whales there, that's like what you were talking about, from our brains. They some extract that as well as feed on. You see people talk about feeding on human meat and feeding on the spirit loose. All of that stuff you hear is true because there's beings that do just that. So it's not just black and white, and trying to keep souls coming back so they could keep feeding on them and use them. And it's like enslaving a soul on this planet. Yeah. So this planet's been used for multiple different things. And that's why it's so multi-layered. You can't say Earth is just this and that. It's so much going on at once here.
Have you ever traveled somewhere that you wish you hadn't?
Lot of mercy. Yes. I went to... Lot. Okay, so I went somewhere I wasn't supposed to. And it was related to Antarctica. And what I can say is I went and I knew it was going to be dangerous, but I knew I had to go. There was some stuff I had to do over there. And so I said, you know what? I usually, when I would go to Antarctica, I'd go with an escort. Like an ET would escort me and show me around. Government's got a lot going on, and they do have astral spies. And so I got spotted, and they wanted to figure out who I was and where I was going. And they got shadow entities that will track you. Just like you go somewhere you're not supposed to, you're gonna see why. And even though we got divine protection, so nothing horrible happened, it was just scary, kind of, and it's hard to scare me. I've seen a lot, and that scared me just a little bit. I was like, oh my God, like even the beings didn't want me to go there because going there would activate also something in myself. So it was also an attack to try and get me to be afraid to go back. And I went back. I went back there, and I did what I needed to do, and I got what I needed to get. And it was just a whole epiphany moment as well. Going into black holes was one of my favorite. I kind of get speechless when I talk about black holes because they are it's definitely something I take very seriously. These black holes, the ETs use them to go from place to place because you could use them to go from place to place. It's like an infinite wormhole. And before I got any training, I had to actually I had to get training first. They were like, we need to train you to use black holes to go from different areas. When I would try and go into black holes without training, they would pull me away and go like this at me. They're like, we can't have you going right yet. And then when I finally got enough training, it took me about like a year of training. And then I was able to go in to these black holes. And it definitely is like a Black Mirror episode. What is it called? That movie, Interstellar? Very, I will say it is like that. If it's uncontrolled, you have to learn how to have control over your mind, or else it's going to be like you all over the place. Right. Black holes are really amazing. You could go anywhere, and you could also see any timeline and go to any timelines. It definitely is an infinity wormhole, and you have to have a lot of control in your mind to navigate the black hole, because if you don't have a control on consciousness in your own mind, you can feel like you're going to get lost, even though you always come back to your physical body. But in the experience, you may get a little lost and just go all over the place.
What are these astral spies that you're referring to?
These are people in the government that hire people that have abilities to watch over and make sure that people that do have abilities don't go in and spot what they're doing. Because they also have other governments got these spies as well that are trying to get information off of other people with psychic abilities. And it reminds me of Kid Spies, that movie, like Kid Spies and stuff like that.
Spy Kids, yeah.
Yeah, Spy Kids. And they get like these little ass kids to do spy work for them. And many of them got powers. It's true. When they know someone has powers, they're like, oh, we could get them to work for the government. I've actually helped many people in the physical in which were recruited by governmental people because they had abilities. And so it's interesting how the system says, oh, it ain't real, it's all made up, it's all lies. But behind the scenes, they're like, okay, we're interacting with these beings, we got these people with these abilities doing this and that. Keep telling the people it's lies so then we can keep doing what we're doing with the power we have. It's an ego thing. They love to know things and do things that the others are denied. Of course, right? It's power. And so those spies are definitely very much real, I would say.
How are you helping these people that were recruited?
Helping them with their abilities, helping them understand, helping them with the work that they're doing with extraterrestrials. Because these beings will help me to help them and will guide me to guide them. And so then having these people in which we help others together, send on these assignments to help other people like that who have these abilities. I mean, we work on behalf of the GFL, so GFL may have us help someone who's being recruited or being attacked, things like that, and help them step into their own individual power because their individual power is linked with the divine and the GFL. So then they get right into their mission. So we have ground agents part of the GFL, and we have ground agents part of the negative alien agenda. So yeah, that whole war on the ground happening right now.
GFL being the Galactic Federation of Light, I'm curious to know, what is the primary message that the GFL is bringing through right now for where we are as a civilization?
We're at the brink of what they call Starway. And I like how they call it this. They call it Starway, where after disclosure, they call it disclosure and distortion. So they're going to try and disclose to you the truth, but distort it a little bit and tell you and make it fear-based. And then there's going to be a Starway where the whole planet is linked with the stars and starfaring civilizations. They become starfaring themselves. And so now it's not just about, oh, we doing this on the planet. Now it's about who are we in terms of galactic society. And people are going to realize, oh, no, we're not just humans, little children running around here. So humans are going to get humbled. So they're going to realize, yeah, we're like little kids compared to everyone else. But also they're going to realize how important they are. Yes, this was an experiment. Yes, every human is made up of ET DNA. Right, mix of all this ET DNA, but also there's hybrids among the people, starseed hybrids. So ET souls in these human forms. So I try and separate hybrid, the humans being hybrids themselves as a society that's hybrids to hybrid humans now. Because people be like, oh, well, humans are made up of ET DNA. Yes. But I will say now that there's hybrids that are like these souls in these bodies, and also hybrids that are literally part ET, part human or hybrid human, if you want to say that. And they are literally like we're born out in space and brought here, or we're born on the planet and are just here organically, just like that. So there is this understanding that humans realize we are the star people and the star people are us, and mixing in that galactic society. And we are right at that precipice right now. So you guys don't have to be afraid of the shifts that are happening, especially the negative experiences that are being called on right now, the wars, the revolutions. The worse it gets, the better, because that means it's just we're resetting society, and people are seeing, oh my God, it's time to raise up arms. Nothing's going to change. There's no justice in the world unless we create it. And everybody now is creating their own justice.
If it's not obvious yet, we're both young men in our 20s. I know you have a very strong connection with the younger generations, the children that are stepping forward into the world right now. You've worked with many of them as well to develop their abilities. What are you seeing as for the younger generation stepping into their soul mission? And also, this podcast is all about intergenerational collaboration. So there are other generations above us that are listening to this. What would you say to them around how to commune with the younger generations that are stepping forward? What are you seeing in them that is wanting to be seen and witnessed by our elders, by our adults that are in many ways still leading the society in many aspects?
I need people to understand that progression is the way to go. We can't be doing no conservatism. And I'm saying that not in terms of politically, I'm saying in terms of conserving old ways of being. It's like people are saying, oh, well, I always was this way, so I'm not going to change. But these new generations are coming in, forcing people to change and say, look, there's a new world. Like, for example, I'm going to bring up, like, when it comes to gender and sexuality. When you look at Andromedans are I think the word is androgynous, where many of them are like both male and female, and they've harnessed that. So you see starseeds come here that are Andromedan, they're transgender because they're like, I resonate with both energies. And in the past, like in Native American societies, they would see transgender people as, or LGBT people as very divine. So we're returning to this progressive way where we're seeing that society is changing to be linked with its divine energy, with, we'll just call it that for now, it's divine essence, it's golden era, and this progression needs to happen. So we need to change things up. We need to become like the American experiment was really cool. American experiment was to try and mix all the cultures from around the world into one, like Orion. Orion is like the America of the galaxy, which is amazing. So again, we're seeing the whole galactic history laying out here in a smaller form, beautiful. And so the American experiment, to see that mix of society and then to see what happens and all that. Now we're doing that on a global scale. Now we're saying, okay, it's time to mix all of us together and see that we're all human and we all just specialize in different stuff. See the true essence of history. Reveal what comes with disclosure is true history. What really happened on the planet? Who are we really? What's the truth to these stories that were told to us? If you guys are struggling with progression, it's going to be hard. It's going to be hard to even, like, you're going to see people saying, extraterrestrials are demons and all this stuff. It's just because they're scared. Humans are naturally formed to be scared of things they don't understand. Why would you assume that they're just demons automatically? Or why would you assume they're all just angels automatically? You got to think in terms of bigger scale here and be open to understanding what's going on, because one reason why people didn't want to disclose is because people aren't ready, even though people would be ready. It's just that certain groups of people are not ready to understand that what they've been shown all this time is a lie, because now they're shown the truth. And it's like a bear in a cage. It's like it's been raised in a cage so long that now that cage is its house. And even though the cage is open, it doesn't want to leave the cage. It sees the cage as a safe space. That's like what's happening with a lot of people and going to happen with a lot, especially religious people. It's like, man, no, everything else is demons. And it's like, no, sir. They indoctrinated the Bible. They spinned it off so they could control you. All this time, this was the truth. And so some people are going to have a hard time with it, but if you can step in a progressive mentality, it's going to be easier for you to understand the true structure of reality and feel safe in doing so.
That's really powerful wisdom right there, brother. Just wanted to acknowledge you for a moment, because it's true. If I love the cage analogy, like right now we're at a moment where the cage is open, and do we want to step through? It's like the allegory of the cave that Plato brought through, where it's these prisoners, they've been inside a dark cave, there's a fire, and then there's like all these puppeteers showing them shadows, and they're believing that that's the real reality. And then one of the prisoners goes out, is blinded by the light, obviously, because it's been in darkness its whole life. And then he goes back to the prisoners and tells them, hey, there's a whole world out here. Come with me. And then the prisoners say, I'm good here. I'll stay back. So I think right now, part of a lot of the work that you're doing and so many others is you're leaving the cave or the cage and telling a lot of us, like, hey, look what is beyond the ice wall. And so when approaching that, really, I'd love to go back to that moment of the ice wall. We didn't really go too deep on it. And as we're ending here, I think that's really important to understand, because this is this whole nother experience that is available to us. And when we approach it with this curiosity, almost like this childlike play and responsibility, we have this knowledge and wisdom that comes back with us into our daily life. And so I wanted to turn it back over to you around when you're exploring the ice wall and what goes beyond that, and even going into scary territory, dangerous territory, where there are agents, spies, astral spies that are out there. What is your attitude toward navigating all of these spaces?
This planet is yours, y'all. It's your responsibility to take care of this planet. And you as star seeds incarnated here to help out on the ground with this power of your spirit. You came here to do just that. So you remembering who you are, just like Jesus did. He had to come here and remember. He had to go to all these temples and get into his power, and then he became the Jesus that everyone knew. Knowing that he was going to get crucified. And now I want you to use the word crucified as a now, what's the word? A metaphor now. Because all divine beings go through a sort of crucifixion in a different way. Whether it's in their town or whether it's online. Like you talk about ETs, it's like Chicken Little. You say, there's aliens, and everybody's like, oh, okay, he's something wrong with his head, whatever. And then later on, they're like, oh, shoot, he was telling the truth. So you getting it's this Jesus archetype storyline is literal, that literally did happen, and it's metaphorical to let you guys know that as divine beings, you are going to be, people aren't going to understand you, but they're going to need you. And that's what's happening right now. Now they're going to start to understand you and say, oh, we're understanding what this all is now. People are going to see this is what biblical times are talking about. Angels among the people, demons hidden among the people and disguised as angels. It's all happening right exactly now. And so I want you guys to know that this planet is yours. You guys have access, even though you may be limited to going certain places. You have the ability to go everywhere, and if the government's trying to stop you from going somewhere, you have the, let's say this, you're meant to have access to these places. So I'm not saying to force yourself in. Definitely don't do that. What I'm saying is know that it's your right to be able to have access to the entire planet and to be able to go to different areas in the cosmos. Even if certain beings say, some divine beings may say, oh, not yet, or go to this area, not yet. That's just divine limitation. But when we're talking about the negative limitation, that's showing you that you're being limited from something that you're destined to have. Some of y'all's inheritances are being held back, and you're supposed to get it in New Earth. It's being held back and taken away from you on purpose. Some of these old Earth leaders are holding your inheritance. And so just know that there's nothing that you have to do per se. All you have to do is what you're being guided to do out of your spirit. What you naturally bring is what you're supposed to be bringing here. So all of you are meant to astral travel. All of us astral travel every single night. And it definitely is a skill. So some can do it way better or remember way more and do more than others can. Of course, it's a spectrum. But know that you have the right and the ability to do just this. And I never want you guys to be afraid of going out of body or to going to these different places, because you guys do this already. So if someone says it's demonic, you could throw it out the window right away. And if someone says, oh, you could get trapped out of your body, throw it out right away. Yes, you could be not go back to your body for a certain time. Like if I'm so deep in the astral realm, my body's still deep asleep, I won't be able to wake up. Like the experience is not done yet. Like my guide's just like, oh no, you'll be able to go back to your body as always, but your experience is not done. And so then I'm living the experience, and sometimes I'm in the experience and want to stay in the experience, but I'm getting pulled back to my body because it's waking up. So you'll never be held. You'll never not be able to go back to your body. And the only thing I want to warn you guys about is that you'll be made afraid of ETs and going out of body and magic and all of that on purpose to limit you from diving into your true power.
I'm being called to ask, how do you view your body now after all these experiences?
I honor it like a vehicle. I honor this human damn body, y'all. I love it. And I honor every organ, every cell, every I just call them energy points, every energy point. And I'm being called to say this because calling it energy points, I like to call it this because it makes it less woo-woo for people. And that's actually originally how I called it. I didn't even know chakras were real like that. I just called them energy points until I researched and realized they're called chakras. And so I want you guys to make your own language with things. I don't call it psionics or quantum energy anymore. I just call it magic because that's how my ancestors and how I like to call it, right? It really is just magic. And it's not understood by people. There's always going to be new words people call it. Science is going to call magic psionics and quantum field work and all that stuff. I want you guys to make your own language. I want you guys to really tap into your spirit's, I know this sounds kind of woo, but really tap into your spirit's essence when it comes to how you live your life, what you do, knowing, because your spirit knows where it's headed and where it's going. But your human self has to get to understand that. So I see this, I actually make a relationship with this ego, which is your human self. Like I'm Cash in this lifetime, but in all these other lifetimes, I was different things and I needed that ego to help me in that mission. So I see status now and roles as different. There's no hierarchy. It's just what role are we playing and what role is needed in the society. What role is my spirit needing to play in this society? So I go to another planet and I incarnate as one of their people. What role do I need to play? Do I need to play a warrior? Do I need to be a yogi and all that stuff? And all of that is in my spirit. My spirit's already done it so many lifetimes. It's just like flipping through a characters list. What role do I need to play here? What energy do I need to tap into for this lifetime here? And yeah, now we here. So even this lifetime, I'm being called on all of my versions of myself in this body right now. And this body is so unique. It's really just Like in Avatar, you see them jump into their consciousness can move vessel, literally just like that. And so some people may say that their original bodies in homeostasis. It's true. Some of y'all literally, that blew my mind too. It's like, whoa, so we really have like our original bodies are kept somewhere for us to jump into again if we want to. And they're like, yeah, like once you're revealed to be a hybrid being among the people, you get to even show them your true form and operate as your true form if you want to, but also in your human form. Because of course you're going to honor this. Like we've been through so much with this body, we're going to honor it. So that is a true thing as well. So these bodies are literally just vehicles, and I want you guys to see it like that. You're playing World of Warcraft, and you're playing as whoever race and magic practitioner you are in World of Warcraft, but really you're just the person behind that character, and you're playing that role in the game, and that should make the game even more fun.
Wow. Brother, I could go on with you for the next 10 hours if we had the time. Why don't we just call this Volume 1? I have a feeling that we're going to continue these conversations for many years to come. I see you as a brother. I know we know each other from Lyra. I know a lot of different things about our connection, and it goes really deep. So I really honor you, man. We end every podcast with just a few final questions that I wanted to ask you. Before we roll into that, where would you send people to connect with you, with your work, everything that you have going on at this time? Where would you send people to that?
You guys can find me on Instagram at I'm King Cash, and I got everything under my bio there. You guys can find me on TikTok. I love going live. We actually have a group or a server we call GFCC, Galactic Federation Command Center. Got lots of teachers over there and lots of amazing community that we got there. You guys should join that, as well as my school. If you're feeling called to be in those communities, you guys could do so. But you guys can find me on Instagram, where it's like my main hub, and I'll be seeing you guys there.
Yes, sir. We'll link everything down in the show notes. Few final questions I had for you is, if you could take everyone that's watching here today on an out-of-body journey, where would you take them and why?
I would take them to this international station right in Earth's orbit. It's like a GFL home base in orbit for Earth, and bring everyone there for them to see the different beings that are watching, to even just look at Earth from an external view for a second. That'll change you forever when you look at Earth externally for a second, and you're outside of you forget how much you feel the Earth vibration when you're on Earth. When you step outside of Earth and you don't feel Earth anymore, you're like, whoa, this universe is expansive. Like, I'm just feeling the Earth frequency being on it. You forget that you feel it all the time. Just like when you're in a house, you forget that you feeling being in the house, right? I would bring them there so they could understand the expansiveness of galactic society and how the galaxy is full of life. Venus got life, Mars got life, Jupiter. Oh, Jupiter is a whole spaceport. A lot of people, when they're coming here, they go to Jupiter first. So to understand the intricacies of galactic society and what's been going on way before us, and what many of you guys are from, you guys are these beings in a human form. To get to interact with your people like that will leave you changed forever. And I would love for you guys to have that experience for yourselves.
Thank you, brother. The last question I have for you today is, beyond all of the extraordinary astral experiences, what do you believe is ultimately true about being human?
That being human is like a video game, I want to say. So much of all this DNA is within us. We're a mix of like all these different beings. Even when you go off Earth, they give respect to you. Many civilizations give respect to you as an Earthling. Some don't like humans, but most love humans because they're like, we're watching the Earth experiment right now. And some of them, you go out there and they're going to give respect. Like, man, we're watching you. Like, we love what you're doing and whatnot. You're like, damn, I'm a celebrity out here. Like, I didn't know it was like that out here. They really do watch this Earth like it's the Kardashians, dog, for real. Because they're so connected to this planet and they have people in it. They're like, man, we want to see what our brother's going to do. Oh, he's going to do this. What's going to happen? Oh, how are they going to react to this when it happens? So it's just like a TV damn series for these people. And it makes me see it like a TV. Now I'm operating like this. Like, I know millions of beings are watching this conversation right now. And we just hear having this conversation. They're like, man, our two Lyran brothers, look at them go. Look at them go, and they don't even know that we watching or that this is going on behind the scenes. It's just, it's mesmerizing to have this human experience that is so multi-layered. We're here to learn. We're here on a mission. We're here to ascend and experience and relive our past life experiences in one lifetime, which is wild in my eyes. So cool. The human experience is extremely magical, as it was in history with our ancestors. They all were linked with these different extraterrestrials and spirits, and all the quote unquote mythologies were them telling you what really happened and what they were doing. The human experience is so just like a game where you could just change the video game to be any sort of video game you want. Do you want it to be a love game, a warrior game, a political game, a Game of Thrones game? What do you want it to be? Like, you hear this all the time that you create your own reality. And I try to make things sound less woo-woo, but it's true. I can't word it any way else. It is a game that you can make it whatever you want. And I want you guys to take control of your reality, knowing it can be whatever you like it to be. And that's your right to make it what you want it to be.
My guy, thank you so much for being a beacon of remembering for so many of us here, and sharing yourself so authentically, openly, and without filter. Really honor you, and I can't wait to continue forming this friendship and seeing where that takes us. So appreciate you so much, brother, and I can't wait to do this again, man. Supporting your journey completely.
Thank you for giving me the space to share this wisdom and to talk with these people. I'm looking forward to coming on again and to interacting with many of y'all in the astral realm. It's going to be real cool. And we'll see y'all in divine timing, of course.
Yes, sir.